Listen to me carefully. Pity is poison wrapped in kindness. When someone pities you, they're looking down at you. They've placed you beneath them. They see you as broken, helpless, a victim of circumstances beyond your control. And here's the dangerous part. The moment you accept that pity, you're agreeing with them. You're saying, yes, you're right. I am less than you. I am helpless. Respect says, you fell, but I know you can get back up. Pity says, you fell, and I doubt you ever will. Reject pity. Demand respect, even in your darkest hour. Understanding the difference, pity versus compassion versus respect. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying reject all help or kindness. There's a crucial difference you need to understand. Pity assumes you're powerless. It sees you as permanently damaged. It comes from a place of superiority and condescension. The person pitying you doesn't believe you can overcome your situation. They see you as a tragedy, not a temporary challenge. Compassion recognizes your struggle while still believing in your strength. It offers support without diminishing your capability. A compassionate person says, I see you're going through hell, and I believe you have what it takes to get through it. How can I support you while you do? Respect acknowledges your agency and potential even in difficulty. It treats you as an equal who's facing a challenge, not as someone who's fundamentally less capable. Accept compassion, welcome respect, but pity, reject it every single time. Here is why pity is so dangerous. 1. It creates a victim identity. When you accept pity repeatedly, something insidious happens in your psychology. You begin to build your identity around being pitied. You become the person with the tragic story rather than the person overcoming challenges. This victim identity becomes comfortable. It gives you attention. It excuses failure. It provides a ready explanation for why you're not succeeding. But it's a prison of your own making. Research in psychology shows that people who adopt a victim mentality have lower resilience, higher rates of depression, and achieve less in life. Not because they face more challenges, but because they've accepted powerlessness as part of who they are. 2. It lowers expectations, yours and others. When you accept pity, everyone, including you, starts lowering their expectations. Teachers give you easier assignments. Employers overlook your mistakes out of sympathy, not merit. Friends stop challenging you. And most dangerously, you stop challenging yourself. You think, well, considering what I've been through, this is good enough. But good enough for someone pitiful is not good enough for someone with real potential. And you do have real potential. 3. It attracts the wrong people and repels the right ones. Pity attracts saviors, martyrs, and people who need to feel superior by helping the less fortunate. These relationships are inherently unequal and unhealthy. You become their charity project, not their partner, friend, or equal. Meanwhile, strong, successful, driven people, the ones who could genuinely help you grow, tend to avoid victims, not out of cruelty, but because they're looking for peers, collaborators, and people with agency. They want to invest in strength, not manage weakness. 4. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Here's the scariest part. When you accept pity, you often unconsciously behave in ways that justify it. It's called behavioral confirmation in psychology. If people expect you to fail because they pity you, and you accept that pity, you're more likely to fail. Not because you're incapable, but because you've internalized their low expectations. I will give you an example with the story of J.K. Rowling, the welfare mother who refused to be pitied. In the mid-1990s, J.K. Rowling was a single mother living on welfare in Edinburgh. She was clinically depressed, broke, and struggling to feed her daughter. People pitied her. Social workers pitied her. Even her own family questioned her choices. She could have accepted that pity. She could have said, "You're right. I made bad choices. I'll just accept this life." But she didn't. Instead, she spent every free moment in cafes, writing a story about a boy wizard while her daughter slept beside her. When publishers rejected her manuscript 12 times, she didn't accept their pity or their implied message that she should give up. She wanted respect, not sympathy. Now here's what's important to understand. Rowling didn't pretend her situation wasn't difficult. She acknowledged she was struggling, but she never let that struggle define her worth or limit her aspirations. She could have easily told herself, "I'm a poor single mother on welfare. Who am I to think I could be a successful author? Maybe I should just be grateful for what I have and stop dreaming." That's what accepting pity sounds like internally. Instead, she thought, "I'm in a tough situation right now, but I have talent. I have a story to tell, and I will find a way." That's what rejecting pity sounds like. Today, she's one of the most successful authors in history, worth over $1 billion. Not because someone felt sorry for her, but because she refused to feel sorry for herself. The publishers who rejected her, they were pitying her. Oh, this poor woman with her little fantasy story. The one who finally accepted her manuscript did so because they saw the quality of her work, not the sadness of her circumstances. That's the power of demanding respect instead of accepting pity. Here is the psychology behind pity. The neuroscience of victim mindset versus growth mindset. When you accept pity and adopt a victim identity, your brain actually changes. Research in neuroplasticity shows that repeated thought patterns create neural pathways. The victim pathway. When you consistently think, "I can't because of what happened to me," your brain releases stress hormones, cortisol, that impair decision-making, strengthens neural connections associated with helplessness, weakens connections associated with agency and problem-solving, activates the amygdala, fear/threat center, more readily, reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex, planning/executive function. Over time, victimhood literally becomes your brain's default mode. The resilience pathway. When you think, "This is challenging, but I will find a way," your brain activates the prefrontal cortex, enhancing creative problem-solving, releases dopamine, which motivates action and learning, strengthens neural pathways associated with agency and capability, builds stress resilience through managed exposure to challenges, creates positive feedback loops where small successes build confidence. Your brain physically becomes what you practice thinking. The social psychology. How pity changes relationships. Research by social psychologists has identified something called pity stigma. When you're seen primarily through the lens of pity, people become less honest with you. They don't want to hurt your feelings, so they withhold constructive criticism you need to grow. You're excluded from opportunities. People assume challenges will be too much for you, so they don't offer them. Your achievements are diminished. When you do succeed, people attribute it to luck, special accommodations, or lowered standards, rather than your genuine ability. You're placed in a social category apart. You become other, someone different from the normal, capable people. Your agency is gradually stripped away. Well-meaning people start making decisions for you, for your own good. This is why rejecting pity isn't just about pride. It's about maintaining your full participation in life. The learned helplessness trap. In the 1960s, psychologist Martin Seligman conducted famous experiments that discovered learned helplessness. When subjects, initially dogs, later studied in humans, were repeatedly put in situations where their actions had no effect on outcomes, they eventually stopped trying, even when the situation changed and escape became possible. Accepting pity creates learned helplessness. When you're consistently treated as though you can't help yourself, you eventually believe it. Even when opportunities arise, you won't take them because you've learned that your actions don't matter. This is devastating because it's often invisible. You don't realize you've stopped trying. You just feel realistic about your limitations. Rejecting pity maintains your sense of agency, your belief that your actions matter. Let's talk about when pity disguises itself. Learning to recognize it. Pity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it wears sophisticated disguises. 1. Lowered standards disguised as kindness. We won't hold you to the same deadline given what you're going through. That's really good for someone in your situation. We're impressed you even tried. Translation: we don't expect much from you. 2. Protective exclusion disguised as care. We didn't think you'd be up for that challenge. We were trying to avoid putting pressure on you. We thought you'd want something easier. Translation: we don't believe you can handle what others can. 3. Conditional praise. Disguised as encouragement. You're so brave for even getting out of bed. I'm amazed you can smile after what you've been through. You're an inspiration just for showing up. Translation: we're surprised you're functioning like a normal human. 4. Defining you by your struggle. Disguised as understanding, always bringing conversation back to your difficulty, introducing you primarily through the lens of your challenge, treating your entire identity as person who overcame setbacks. Translation: your tragedy is the most interesting thing about you. How to respond. When you recognize disguised pity, address it directly but gracefully. I appreciate your concern, but I'd prefer to be held to the same standards as everyone else. I'm capable of handling challenges. I'd actually appreciate being included. I'd rather be recognized for my work quality than my circumstances. I'm more than just my past. Let's talk about current projects, goals, interests. This resets the relationship from pity to respect. Your marching orders. Expanded action plan. Starting today. 1. Audit your story. Stop telling your sob story for sympathy. Share your struggles as part of your strength story, not your weakness story. Practical exercise. Write down your biggest challenge or setback. Now write 2 versions. Pity version. Focus on how unfair it was, how much you suffered, how hard it's been. Strength version. Focus on what you learned, how you're adapting, what you're building because of it. Notice which version makes you feel powerful and which makes you feel small. Tell the powerful version. 2. Establish boundaries around pity. When someone pities you, correct them immediately and kindly. Practical responses. I don't need pity. I need opportunity. I've got this. What I could use is specific, respectful support. I appreciate your concern, but I'm handling it. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm looking for solutions. The first time you do this, it will feel uncomfortable. Do it anyway. You're training people how to treat you. 3. Distinguish help from rescue. Accept help that makes you stronger. Reject help that makes you dependent. Help that empowers. Teaching you a skill. Connecting you with opportunities. Offering resources you can use independently. Providing honest feedback. Believing in your capability while supporting your growth. Help that creates dependency. Doing things for you that you could do yourself. Shielding you from necessary challenges. Making excuses for you. Lowering standards, specifically for you. Treating you as permanently fragile. Accept the former. Politely decline the latter. 4. Change your language. Your words shape your reality. Make these shifts. instead of, I can't because I'm finding ways to feel sorry for me, believe in me. It's not fair that I'm working with what I have. I'm a victim of, I experienced, and I'm moving forward. Poor me. Watch me. I need someone to save me. I need someone to believe in me while I save myself. Advanced practice. For 1 full week, ban yourself from explaining why you can't do something because of your circumstances. You can only talk about how you're going to do it despite your circumstances. This single exercise will transform your mindset. 5. Walk with your head up. Even when you're down, even when you're struggling, especially then, carry yourself like someone who will overcome. Body language matters. Research shows that your physical posture actually affects your hormones and mindset. Power posing. Standing with your shoulders back, head up, taking up space, increases testosterone, confidence hormone, and decreases cortisol, stress hormone. When you're struggling most, dress well. Maintain eye contact. Speak clearly and confidently. Move purposefully. Take up appropriate space. You're not pretending everything is fine. You're embodying the truth that you are capable of handling what's not fine. 6. Build identity beyond your struggle. Don't let your challenge become your entire identity. Practical exercise. Write down 10 things that are true about you that have nothing to do with your struggle/challenge/trauma. For example, if you're dealing with illness, I'm a skilled musician. I'm a loyal friend. I have a dry sense of humor. I'm knowledgeable about history. I make excellent pasta. I'm good at solving puzzles. I have strong opinions about architecture, etc. Actively cultivate and talk about these aspects of yourself. You're a full human being, not just a walking hardship. 7. Surround yourself with people who see your strength. Evaluate your relationships. Who consistently sees you as capable? Who challenges you appropriately? Who celebrates your strengths, not just sympathizes with your struggles? Who treats you as an equal? Spend more time with these people. Reduce time with those who primarily relate to you through pity. 8. Set goals that scare the people who pity. Nothing rejects pity more effectively than ambitious achievement. Set goals that make sense for your abilities and aspirations, not for your circumstances. Let your achievements speak louder than your explanations. When people say, "That's unrealistic given your situation," hear it as, "I don't believe in you yet." Your job isn't to convince them. Your job is to prove them wrong. Let's take the pity test. Questions to ask yourself. Not sure if you're accepting pity? Ask yourself these questions honestly. Do I lead with my struggles when meeting new people or in new situations? If yes, you might be seeking pity. Do I feel uncomfortable when people have high expectations of me? If yes, you might have internalized low expectations from pity. Do I use my circumstances as the primary explanation for my lack of progress? If yes, you might be in a victim mindset. Am I more comfortable discussing my problems than my goals? If yes, your identity might be tied to being pitied. Do I feel resentful when others succeed in areas where I've struggled? If yes, you might be comparing their normal expectations to your lowered ones. Do I avoid challenges because I've been through enough already? If yes, pity, self-pity, might be limiting your growth. Do people frequently offer me help I didn't ask for or don't need? If yes, you might be projecting victim energy. Am I offended when people treat me like everyone else instead of giving me special consideration? If yes, you've become dependent on pity-based accommodation. Do I introduce myself or allow others to introduce me primarily through my challenges? If yes, That's become your identity. Do I feel more validated by sympathy than by achievement? If yes, you're seeking the wrong kind of validation. Scoring, 0 to 2. Yes answers. You're maintaining healthy boundaries around pity, 3 to 5. Yes answers. Pity is starting to influence your identity and choices, 6 to 8 yes answers. You've significantly internalized a victim identity, 9 to 10. Yes answers. Pity has become central to how you see yourself and interact with the world. If you scored high, don't despair. Awareness is the first step. Starting today, you can choose differently. The fine line, self-compassion versus self-pity. One crucial distinction I need to make. Rejecting pity does not mean being harsh with yourself. Self-pity says, "This happened to me, and it means I'm broken, /unlucky/doomed." Self-compassion says, "This happened to me, and it's painful, and I'm going to be kind to myself while I work through it." Self-pity focuses on why you can't. Self-compassion acknowledges difficulty while maintaining belief in your capability. Self-pity compares your struggles to others' ease and feels cheated. Self-compassion recognizes everyone has different challenges and focuses on your own path. Self-pity seeks to justify inaction. Self-compassion enables sustainable action. Research by Dr. Kristen Neff shows that self-compassion actually increases resilience and achievement, while self-pity decreases both. Be kind to yourself. Just don't confuse kindness with accepting helplessness. We live in a culture with mixed messages. Sometimes victim status is commodified. Trauma becomes currency. Struggle becomes brand. Social media algorithms reward vulnerability posts. Crowdfunding campaigns often compete on who has the most sympathetic story. Identity politics sometimes emphasizes oppression over agency. This makes rejecting pity countercultural and even more important. You'll encounter people who are disappointed when you don't stay in the victim role they assigned you. Situations where playing the sympathy card would be advantageous. Short-term incentives to emphasize your struggles over your strengths. Pressure to stay small so others feel comfortable. Resist all of it. The temporary advantages of pity pale in comparison to the long-term power of respect. The ultimate question: what do you want to be known for? At the end of your life, at the end of this chapter, at the end of this challenge, what do you want people to say about you? Option A, the pity story. They went through so much. It's amazing they survived. We felt so bad for them. At least they made it through. Option B, the respect story. They faced serious challenges and overcame them. They refused to be limited by circumstances. They achieved remarkable things. They showed us what's possible. Both versions acknowledge your struggles. Only one acknowledges your power. Which story are you writing? Because here's the truth. Every day, every interaction, every choice between accepting pity or demanding respect, you're writing that story one decision at a time. Here is the conclusion. Life will knock you down. That's guaranteed. Tragedy, hardship, unfairness. They're all coming for every single one of us. And when you're down there, people will offer you two things. A hand of respect that expects you to pull yourself up while they steady you. A pat on the head of pity that expects you to stay down while they feel good about feeling bad for you. Choose the hand. Reject the pat. Because you're not here to be pitied. You're not here to be someone's charity case, their inspiration porn, their "at least I'm not them" comparison. You're here to be reckoned with. You have one life, one shot. Don't waste it collecting sympathy. Spend it earning respect from others, but most importantly, from yourself. When you look in the mirror, the person looking back should see someone who faced hard things and face them standing up. Someone who fell and got back up. Someone who was counted out and counted themselves back in. Not someone to be pitied. Someone to be respected. The world will take its cues from you. If you carry yourself like a victim, you'll be treated like one. If you carry yourself like a warrior still in the fight, you'll be treated like one. You don't need their pity. You never did. You need your own belief, your own determination, your own refusal to be defined by what happened to you rather than what you're going to do about it. So stand. Even if you're on your knees right now, start the process of standing up. Brush off that pity like dust on your shoulders. Look the world in the eye and show them, show yourself, what you're really made of. Now go out there and earn their respect instead. You've got this. Not because it's easy, but because you're capable. And that's not pity talking. That's the truth.